This is a video demonstrating how to calibrate the Tunnel ST system using the touch screen. It is important to remember chemical safety when doing a calibration. Employees should always wear protective equipment when dealing with chemicals, including doing a calibration. As a reminder, calibration on this system is done on a per chemical basis, and there are two ways to calibrate this system: using the flow meter, or doing a time-based calibration. Before you start calibrating the system, disable it by pressing the Enable/Disable button in the Controls menu, found here. Next, make sure the valves of the calibration line, at the beginning, behind the system, and at the end, are open, and place a graduated cylinder beneath the end valve. Then, flush the manifold of the chemical you are going to calibrate, by pressing the Flush Manifolds button in the Controls menu, choosing the corresponding manifold from the dialog window that appears. Don't forget to empty the graduated cylinder after you've finished flushing the system. Next, enter the Level 7 password on the FPD keypad, found here. Remember, the default password is 777777. Then, press the 4 key for 4 equals calib to bring up the calibration options. And, press the 1 key for 1 equals calibrate chems in order to bring up chemical assignments. Use the arrow keys to scroll to desired chemical and press the ENT key to select it. Press the Calibrate Chemicals button in the Controls menu to pump the chemical, press the button again to stop the pump. Note, for accurate calibration, do not stop and restart the pump. The dispensed amount should be close to the typical injection size, though it should not be less than 200 ml or more than 1800 ml. Make sure to close the valve at the end of the calibration line, and then place the graduated cylinder on a level surface to accurately read the amount of chemical, being sure to measure the volume of the chemical and not the foam. After you've measured the chemical, press the ENT key to accept the counts. Press the CLR key to clear the suggested amount automatically displayed and enter in the new amount to the 10th place, then, press the ENT key to accept the new amount. Be sure to press 1 to store the calibration as the initial calibration. This is important. If it is not done, the calibration will be lost. The controller will then return to the calibration menu. After, make sure to open the valve at the end of the calibration line, then flush the system for about 15 seconds, and close both valves on the calibration line if necessary. Now, you are done calibrating that specific chemical. Repeat as needed for all other chemicals. After you are done calibrating the system, don't forget to enable the system, by pressing the Enable/Disable button in the Controls menu, to resume normal operations. Due to certain circumstances, like if the chemical has an inconsistent flow through the meter, or there is gas in the chemical, it may be beneficial to calibrate the chemicals based on time rather than flow meter input. To calibrate the chemicals without the flow meter, you use the same method, except you have to change that chemicals sensor in the Edit Chemical Assignment in PulseNet. Check the time-based box for a specific chemical to do time-based calibration for that chemical. Then, make sure to send out a group formula update. And, after that, remember to cycle power before you calibrate. It is important to note that for time-based calibration, the system will now dispense that particular chemical without reference from the flow meter. There is also no need to change the programming on the machines or interface. The system will start doing time-based delivery for the specific chemical calibrated by turning on the pump for a specified time. Caution: if there is no flow or lack of product, the system will not alarm. Some common calibration errors are: 0 cannot be entered in for a calibration. If no counts or low counts, less than 1 per second, are detected, the system will alarm with a minimum frequency error. If this occurs, press the No key to exit and check the flow rate as well as the response from the flow meter. Make sure the gears are not jammed and the meter is counting up during the calibration. If the error was not described, contact Softrol Systems at 770-974-2700 for further assistance. To check the calibration, do not use the calibration routine or the calibration will be altered. Instead, program a calibration test formula. Remember, these formulas should correspond to the chemical number. For example, formula number 1 checks chemical number 1, and if chemical number 1 is alkali, formula number 1 should be called check alkali, and will dispense the requested amount of alkali. To get the percent error, subtract the experimental or received amount from the expected or desired amount, divide this number by the expected amount and then multiply by 100. If the percent error is outside the range of tolerance, then recalibrate the system. This concludes the Calibrating the Tunnel ST system using the touchscreen video. Thank you for choosing Softrol Systems.